welcome back. Today we're going to make a recipe for the this miniature apples. As you can see, they are really tiny, and that's going to be a royal jam. So the idea to make them as a whole and kind of cook it for not too long, and then preserve them this way. So in winter time you can use as a cake decoration or just a really fun jam to try. So I didn't have too many of those apples, so I have about 200 grams of these little apples. You need the ratio 1:1. If you have like 200 grams of apples, you would need 200 grams of sugar. If you have like 1 pound, so 1 pound of sugar, and so on. So I have 1:1. First, we would need to make I tried with a toothpick, just make a holes, kind of put it in the bottom, so then the syrup can get absorbed. You could use a knife and remove the bottom part, but because they're so tiny, I don't want to use too much, so I just will poke it in the bottom with a toothpick, and that's how we prepared. So literally you just need to make a hole in the bottom for the syrup to get in and absorb into the apple, or you could just cut it away a little bit where the flowers are in the bottom of your apples. And for the syrup we need so I have 200 grams of apples. It's about would give you 1 cup of sugar, and for that about a quarter cup of water. So I have that water. Syrup is easily made. You just bring it to boil your syrup, so you get really nice and bubbly. In a separate in a separate pot, we will boil the apples for like few minutes. So we'll just go from there. So right now we're going to prepare the apples, prepare the syrup, and boil the apples. So basically you would need to cover your apples with water so they're all inside the water. Cover it up, bring it to boil, and let it boil for 5 minutes. I want to show you the toothpick is too weak for this apple, so I got this sharp scissors, like really sharp, and I just go in and rotate a little bit, make a little hole, so and what that will give you a nice nice way for syrup to get into your apple. So can be creative and figure it out. Usually they are much bigger and red apples, so they're miniature apples, so but these ones are completely tiny, so let's figure it out if they will even worthwhile making it. So just prepare our apples. Alright guys, so I have the water. Since we have a very small amount of apples, so yeah, just a little bit of water. It's boiling right now, and I'm going to add my apples to this boiling water, and we're going to boil for 5 minutes. So we can even close it. So just make sure the water is covering up all your apples. So the apples are going to boil. I will even set up the timer for 5 minutes so we don't mess it up. Like 5 minutes. And now could close up. And in this pot I'm making the syrup. The sugar is almost dissolved, so right now we're just mixing it up so the sugar doesn't get burned. Just continuously mixing it until it gets really hot, bubbly, and have to watch that it doesn't escape from the pot. So that's 2 things we're doing right now. Apple is going to boil for 5 minutes, and in the meantime we are making the syrup. After 5 minutes I removed the boiled water from the apples, and right now add my syrup. Unfortunately, my apples cracked and opened up, but we're going to proceed anyway, so to make it look more interesting. So what we're going to do right now we're going to boil in syrup for another 5 minutes. I guess what I've been suspecting, my apples that I collected super tiny. I guess you have to keep it open because I kept the lid closed while it was boiling, and maybe even less time. So if they are so tiny, so you would need literally just a few minutes to boil. Oh, we're just figuring out our way. So we are not removing any foam, leave it alone. So for 5 minutes we're getting in that syrup. So we are boiling in that syrup and let it absorb through. After 5 minutes we turn it off and let it cool off, completely cool off. If you don't have enough time, you can put your pot in cold water, like in your sink. You can put cold water and let it cool off, and then we're going to heat it up one more time. So right now we'll let it cook for 5 minutes. So I guess these are super tiny apples, so that's what happened to the tiny little schnoogies. They just get cracked. So it was worth a trial. So let's see what happens, if there is anything going to be left from our apples after this procedure. All right, our apples, mini apples, cooled off completely. I put the pot in cold water in the sink and they cooled off like in no time. It's such a small amount. So now I'm bringing it to boil one more time, and we boil for 5 minutes again. Then we turn it off and keep it overnight standing in the pot. So right now we just bring it to boil one more time and let it boil for 5 minutes. Again, probably for this type you need a little bit bigger apples. There's like almost very little soft part, seeds inside and everything, but we're experimenting, so let's see what will happen. This way you could make cherries, you could make other fruit. So just the same principle. You boil your fruit first, then you make syrup separately, then you remove the water, add syrup, and literally just 5 minutes cooking, let it cool off, then another 5 minutes cooking, and you cool off. So you could do several times like that. And this is how it absorbs all that syrup, and this way it will be nice decoration for your cakes, pies, whatever you're going to make in the future. So it started to boil, as you can see. So we're just 5 minutes boiling that. These apples, turn it off and let it stand until the next day, at least like 8 hours. So usually for me it's evening right now, so I will keep it over the night. So if you do it in the morning, so you just keep it until the evening and then you boil one more time. So this is the next step with all these mini apples. Okay guys, it's been 5 minutes. You can see it's nice and bubbly here. I'm turning it off and now we'll let it cool for at least 6 to 8 hours. So here we go, leave it alone. All right, today is day 2. So this is what happened after the night. I can really get nicely syruped. I kept the lid closed. What we do right now, we bring it to boil, and that's it. Boil for another 5 minutes and our little apples are ready. As you can see, they're really like caramel color. Again, depends on the color and the size of your apples. If you have larger apples, that would be even much nicer. From my mistake, when you boiled fresh, do not close the lid, let it steam come out. So then I think that's what happened, and my apples, pretty much all of them cracked. Otherwise, they're really wonderful flavor. It has this almost caramel flavor, and really nice adding as a decoration for your cakes and things. This particular apples have too many seeds and things that just too hard to eat. So literally just for decoration. You could do with the same method other berries, for example, gooseberries. You could do strawberries, cherries. So other berries, the same principle. So really short time for cooking. Let it stand, let it cool. Then again for 5 minutes boiling, turn it off, let it stand. So basically it's not that hard, but it's a little bit time consuming. And this way, if you do little strawberries that will stay together, will be in one solid piece, or other berries, whatever you choose. So we just bring it to boil. It's already starting on the side, since it's such a small amount here. Boil it for 5 minutes, turn it off, cool it off, and you can store it away. You could put it in a little jar, or just keep it in the refrigerator, maybe in a special dish, so they really don't fall apart. So I'm trying not to mix up too much or anything, so they completely don't fall apart on me. And there they are. So let them boil, and we'll do that for another 5 minutes. So there they are, nice apples. Okay. All right, this is our end result. It took just an hour or so to cool off. You put it out, and this is amber look like beautiful apples. So they're really awesome for decorating cakes and maybe muffins, cupcakes. You can put one on top. It's a really gorgeous color. If you look through the sun, it's literally beautiful color. Literally like amber. Well, they do call a royal jam. And when we open it up, these are our little apples. They could get stuck to the lid. There we go, have to be careful. And now, there they are. So this is our royal jelly, royal jam. It looks literally like amber. Thanks for watching. I hope my video inspired you to make your own royal jam and caramelize your own fruit for this beautiful decorations. So once more, I want to show you how gorgeous they look in the sunshine, especially they're really shining. It's like natural amber. Again, thank you so much. If you enjoyed the video, put like, subscribe, let me know what other videos you might like to see. Thanks again, and see you next time. Stay healthy, stay happy.